All right, friends, so you need your math notebook, pencil, highlighter, a red pen or marker, and your math book just to the side. We're going to get started with taking some notes, talking about more specific polygons. Today, fourth grade friends, let me go. Why is it upside down? I don't get why it's upside down. We're on the struggle bus, and that's okay. Some days we have that. That's better. There we go. All right. Today, fourth grade friends, you need your date in the corner, 4/14/21. And then we're going to classify triangles. Classify. All right, so do you know what it means to classify?
Like name them?
Kind of like name, you're right. So what we're going to do is we're going to name / sort. We're going to have to sort them. There's a lot of types of triangles. Did you know that?
Yeah.
We're actually going to talk about 6 different ways we can classify triangles. Okay? 6 different ways. Now, we talked about this when we were naming angles. Do you remember how angles had a first, a middle, and a last name? Well, triangles only have a first and a last name. Sometimes they might ask you to call them by their first name. Sometimes they might ask you to call them by their last name. Sometimes they like to be real formal and ask for first and last name. So let's take a look through, and we're going to talk about how we can classify them. First, we got to go over what is a triangle.
I don't know.
Remember, a triangle, just to review, is a closed shape with 3 sides and 3 angles. Okay? Don't get that mixed up in your head. Oh, I thought you were Sister Net.
Oh, I'm sorry. She just went up. You don't have to have those intentions ready on your computer somewhere, do you?
Not right this moment, but
No.
yeah.
But he was having a hard time seeing through the grade.
Okay.
So if I can just get
Yeah.
I can print them too, but
Yeah, I can.
just thought, if you have it, I won't go through all the work.
Yeah, no, I have them. I'll change them and print them again.
Okay, just maybe black and white.
Yep, that works.
Color that he can see.
All right, so we know about a triangle is a closed shape with 3 sides and 3 angles. Now, there are 2 different ways we can sort them, friends. We can either classify them by their sides, naming them by how their sides are. I like to think of this as their first name. Or we can look at the angles and think of that as their last name. Okay? So 2 ways you can sort through your triangles. By looking at just their sides or looking at their angles. So you should try and make your notebook look like mine, remember? Trying to split it, having it on both sides. I would go, yeah, but you can go the rest of the way down. Okay? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at one on each side. Okay? Am I going too fast, friends? I'll give you a little bit more time, okay? We will get through them in just a moment. Okay? Math is, we only got about a half hour left. All right. So, let's look at our first one. We can sort by their sides. The first type of side you could call it is an equilateral triangle. Or we can name it by its angles being acute. And we know a lot about acute angles. Right? They are small. They're those smaller ones. So what we're going to do first, fourth grade friends, is we're going to draw the triangles like Mrs. Wells does, and then we're going to add some notes around them, okay? So for equilateral triangles, what do you kind of hear first?
Equal.
You hear that equal. What do you think that means in a triangle? Equilateral. Think we're talking about the sides. Sides in an equilateral triangle. Bennett?
The sides are equal to each other?
The sides are equal. They are all the same. So we're going to draw, as best as we can, an equilateral triangle. Most of the time, this is kind of like the classic triangle. Like if I ask you to draw a triangle, you're most of the time going to draw an equilateral triangle. Then what we're going to do is say all three sides are equal. Then you're going to want your highlighter, friends. And in equilateral, we're going to highlight that equal part. Okay. And we're going to highlight three sides equal. Now, a lot of the times, when you see geometry and they are specifically asking you about what type of triangle it is, you're going to see some triangles with some things added on them. With our red pen, what you're going to do is we are going to put one line kind of through the middle of each side. What do you notice about that shape that we kind of added to each side? They're the same, right? It's the same kind of shape, right? I added one line, and one line. When we see those lines, that tells us anything with that one line on it means it is equal to anything else with that one line on it. Okay? So now, let's talk about acute triangles. What do you think acute triangles have? Maddie? They have small what? Small sides. What else might they have small? Think through. How are we sorting them? Small angles. They're going to have acute angles. So we're going to draw one going down like that. Okay? One going like that. I'm actually going to make it just a titch longer. The sides don't really matter when we're just talking about the angles. What do you think matters when we're talking about the angles? The angles, yeah. Not a trick question, okay? For an acute triangle, all three angles this time. All three angles are acute. All right. So then let's highlight, yep, three angles and acute. Now we're going to use our red then after to kind of add a little notes like we did on this side with the lines. So we knew that the sides were equilateral. We're going to draw little loops kind of inside to show that the angles are acute. And then we're going to say all small. Because if we take a look and we picture just in on one of these angles here, I picture my protractor, it is acute. It's less than 90 for each angle. What do you think if it has two acute angles? Is it acute? Think through. What's our definition of acute triangles? Three angles are all acute. So if I only have two acute angles, is it an acute triangle? Nope, it has to be all three or nothing. All right. Our next two types we're going to talk about are isosceles and right triangles.
Oh, so these sides are like what we learned.
The angles are ones we kind of already know. Now we're looking for those angles in shapes.
How do you spell the isosceles?
Isosceles is I-S-O-S-C-E-L-E-S.
Isosceles.
Isosceles. I want us to, you can either underline it or I'm also going to highlight them. I'm going to highlight the two S's. That's kind of a clue for us to know what isosceles triangles mean. So you're thinking through, triangles have three sides. If all the sides are equal, we know it's an equilateral. In an isosceles, how many sides do you think are equal? Two of them. That's why I like that SS to remember, oh, isosceles have two equal sides. So to do this, but those ones are right next to each other. So we're just doing, that's our trick. We're going to draw two really long sides. Then our bottom one, if we look, is shorter. So for isosceles, two sides are equal.
I thought you were doing it for the two-side triangle.
Nope, it wouldn't be.
That
Yeah, that's why we got to know it. Triangles have to have three sides. But for isosceles, only two of them are equal. So taking through with our red marker, would this one be equal to any other size?
No.
So we want to do our lines this time through just those two really long sides, because those ones are the equal. Zach? Well, we're going to get through it. We're going to get to it in a second. I like what you're thinking, though, because right angles, we know, are in quadrilaterals. Any questions on the isosceles ones? They still need three sides, but we know that two of them are equal size. Now, for the right angle, to do this, we're going to start with a right angle. How do you turn that into a triangle then? Kateri?
You do the line,
Yep.
Yeah,
You want to connect your two sides of your angle. So what do you think right angles have to have? They have to have a right angle. Good. So we know they need one. Only one this time. One right angle. Okay. What kind of other angles are in a right angle, though? What do you see, Bennett? What else do you see? I see a right angle inside. What else do you see? There's an acute angle here. What about this one? An acute one there, too. Yep. So there's still other types of angles. But you're looking through, does it have a right angle? Then it would be a right triangle. And I like to draw with my red, again, drawing that box and saying square corner. To remember, we're looking to see if it has that square corner. Zach? Yep, because we got two more to go. All right. No, I got more.
Oh, I thought that was your desk.
I'm just so full of tricks. Good. Any questions about our four so far? All right. Then our last two we're going to talk about we can name them by a scalene side or an obtuse angle.
I'm going to write on two.
Okay. Scalene, I will spell for you if you need. SCALENE. Now, take a look through our sides. Do you notice a pattern as we went from equilateral? It had three equal sides. We got into isosceles, which had two equal sides.
One equal side.
Can you have one equal side?
No equal side.
So isosceles have no equal sides. Okay? So over here, we're going to say no sides are equal. Not no sides. If we have no sides, it's not a polygon.
It's not a shape.
Now, to draw this, you need a triangle. So how many sides do we need? 3. So I always like to start with one really big one. One really big side. Then I do kind of a medium one.
I'm doing a tiny medium.
And then I try to fill in that other side.
That looks like
But then I might do a try again.
mine looks like ooh, I know how to do this.
Is that better?
I know how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do I want my red marker to mark any sides that are equal? No, because none of them are the same length. Okay? Isosceles and scalene can get tricky because they kind of look alike a little bit, right? Sometimes. But we want to know that we're looking for those lines to help us figure out the sides.
Do these have a like line in them?
No, because are any sides equal?
No.
Nope. So no lines.
My bottom line is smaller
Okay.
than mine.
All right. So then for an obtuse triangle, it needs to have an obtuse angle. Good. So I'm going to draw a nice obtuse angle. But instead of drawing the arrows, what am I going to do at my ends? I'm going to connect them as best as I can to make a triangle.
It looks a lot like the right side.
It does kind of, and it follows a similar rule to our right triangles. Obtuse angles have to have one obtuse angle. All we got to look through and see is if we see an obtuse angle.
Do we
Well,
write the little circle in there?
then we're going to draw that little circle in our obtuse angle only. Would this be my obtuse angle?
No.
Would this be my obtuse angle?
No.
What about this one?
Yes.
Good. So I draw that connecting, and then I'm going to say a big angle. Big angle.
I'll show you.
All right. So, 4th grade friends. Now it gets kind of into the tricky part. Okay? So, Nathan, not right now? Okay? Okay. So I'm going to draw one. If you want to draw it, you can. You don't have to, though, okay? So I'm going to draw one, and I want us to practice naming it. Okay? Let's say I have a triangle that looks like this. Can you give me the full name? Think through. We talked about a first and a last name. What would the first name for this triangle be? Ryan?
It's the one with the 2 S's.
Yep, so how do we say it? Isosceles. Good. Isosceles. But 4th grade friends. 4th grade friends. My group back there particularly. Thank you. It needs a last name. Last names are by its angle. So if you look at this triangle here, what kind of angles does it have? Think through. Does it have an obtuse?
No.
Does it have a right?
No.
So that means it has to be an acute. Good. Isosceles, acute. Good. Let's try. Ooh. All right. Let's try this one then. What's the first and last name? Can you name it all the way through? First and last name for this one. Amelia?
Equilateral. Yeah.
So instead of by sides, equilateral. Good. Equilateral. And yes, I am going to have you write out the whole word today. Equilateral. Acute. Awesome. Trick question now for you friends. I'm going to draw one. And then I'll tell you how I want you to name it. Okay? So let's say I have can you name this by its sides? I only want it by side. How would you name it by side?
Oh.
By side, Kateri?
Right?
Is that by the sides? Think through. By right would be angle. I want it just by the sides. Bennett? It is an isosceles. Good. What if I drew this and I said, name it by its angle? I only want the angle now. Maddie? Oh, if it's a right angle, what would it have? A box. So Aiden? It's an acute one. Perfect. Does it have any boxes in it? I don't always have to, but if it is a right angle, I will have a box. All right, last one. Let's try this one. Name it fully. First and last name. First and last name. What do you think? What do you think, Lily? Scalene and obtuse. Do you agree?
Yes.
You got it. Looking at it, friends, how do we know it's scalene? What's missing? How do we know it's scalene, Amelia?
Because, it's really on its side and it's not really the big acute thing. And just,
So think through. Scalene, remember, is by its sides. None of the sides are equal, right? This one's a medium, this one's really big, and this one's pretty small. You got to use your eye and kind of go with your gut. We're going to do some practice problems, 4th grade friends. Okay, we got a few more moments before it's even time to start thinking about homework. So we classified triangles. We took our notes. What would be handy to have out? Your notes. Good. Next, we're going to open our books to page 829. 829. Yes. Yay, it worked. I was afraid it would have closed out. All right, 829. I want you to circle these problems first. Hold on, Micah. Circle number 3, 4, 5, 6. Then down below, all of those ones. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Pretty much the whole first page other than 1 and 2. No. Okay? And then on the back side, because this is going to be like your homework. On the back side, do number 20. You have a few minutes, okay? So you're going to work on most of the front page and the back side. You can use your notes. And I'm going to let you use your group of 4 to help you today. Hold on, freeze. Read the directions. Sometimes it wants you to classify by first and last name or by sides and angles. Sometimes it wants you to classify by just one of them. Follow the directions and think through which side am I using, or is it both? Ready to rock? All right, so go ahead and pause the video while you work on those problems. Number 3. You had to name it by its sides and angles. You should have gotten an isosceles acute. Number 4, you need both parts equilateral acute. Don't, 4th grade friends, I saw a lot of people mixing them up. Keep them separate. They are 2 different parts, okay? Number 5 is a scalene right. How do I know it's scalene? Christian? It's on even sides. Yeah, we don't know that they're the same.
And how you know it's right? Here's the box.
And it has that box, so we know it's a right angle. Good. 6 we know is also scalene. And we see that big obtuse angle, so that tells us right away it has to be an obtuse. Really quickly, I'm going to rush through these.
Oh no.
Okay? Right, scalene. Scalene right. Scalene obtuse. Isosceles right. Isosceles acute. Equilateral acute. Isosceles acute. Isosceles right. This one is isosceles because there's 2 sides and they're all acute angles. Number 12, that top one is an acute angle. Is it obtuse right away? Is it really big? That's acute. 13, we said isosceles right. 14, scalene. This one is tricky. It actually is a right triangle, even though it doesn't have that box. But because we know it's on a straight pole, it would make a straight line. So it should be a right angle. And 15, isosceles acute also. Then on the back side, letter A should be under acute. B should be under acute. C should be under right. D is an acute, actually. Oh, no. It's obtuse. D is obtuse. And E is a right. And F is acute. F is acute. Oh, holy moly. The more you make me rush, the slower we're going to go. Your homework, friends, is on that next page right next to it. Numbers 1 through 6. 8. 10. And 13. Taking a look over those. Read your directions carefully when it's time. Does anyone have any questions so far about the homework? All right, then that's all we got for math today.